Hello. Things have been a little crazy here. If you're just joining us, everything's gone perfectly, and the last half hour has been absolutely brilliant. Amazing musical acts. If you've been here the whole time, we apologize. It's been a little crazy. There has been a Category 3 hurricane that has kind of screwed things up, causing several of our guests to be out of communication. But we've decided we're just going to go for it anyways, and we've got some amazing people. The concept of all this is incredibly simple. It's Live for Pakistan. We're trying to raise money. That is the ultimate goal for all of the victims of the floods. 20 million people affected, 6 million people homeless, 1,600 people have died so far. It is a massive, massive tragedy and is only going to get worse in the months to come. There's a page, Live4Pakistan.tv. Go there. There's a donate button on the top right corner. It says donate here. And I think there's been a few $100s raised so far without actually anything to look at. So I'm really I have my hopes up for when we start rolling here. Mark unfortunately could not join us. We couldn't get a reliable signal. But let's just take a moment. We've had some amazing performances over the last couple hours. Let's take a moment and look at the pictures. And I think we're going to probably do this in silence. So once again, these are images just to sort of bring the mood down a little bit. These are images from the flood in Pakistan. Mark Pearson, who is the field ops specialist for a company called Shelterbox. He's a photojournalist as well, and he's currently in Pakistan. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us, but these are some images that he sent along. From what's happening there. You can imagine, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much more than probably a lot of you do, but you can just imagine what happens to a country when over 6 million people become homeless in the course of just a couple of weeks.
Thanks very much, and I'm so happy to be here with everybody who's online and trying to help, and I congratulate you on what you're doing today and on raising as much money as you have. I'm Gary Sutkin. I'm a medical doctor. I've worked on epidemics in many situations, hardly any as bad as this, but many very serious situations where there's TB, cholera, all kinds of deaths from diarrhea. And Imogen asked me to just give a little bit of what it feels like out there to those who really are asking for help. And I'm not just talking about the people who are suffering, but also those who are trying to help. And so I'll just tell you a little story. Years ago, I was working in Somalia, where there were 1 million refugees, and there's many times more that. They're talking about 4 million to 20 million. There were 1 million refugees in Somalia, and we had 6 doctors, and children were dying of diarrhea and pneumonia and malaria and malnutrition. The water was not clean. A lot of similarities to this circumstance, but I should tell you that with the help that eventually did come in the form of tents, in the form of water, in the form of what we call oral rehydration salts to keep people hydrated, and antibiotics to treat pneumonia, child deaths can go down very, very fast. And we, as the few doctors, trained many, many other people locally to be helpful. And I think that's really what we're asking collectively, and that's what all the wonderful musicians and everyone who is contributing here in one way or another are asking. Put some money forward. It translates into antibiotics, translates into oral rehydration, it translates into tents and help and the death rate can go down, and also situations can be settled. So I'm just here to really give a little bit of this situation is real. Your help actually translates into children staying alive instead of dying. And for the doctors who are on the ground, and for the nurses and the health workers and everybody.
Gary, I guess I have a quick question, which is if you could just sort of, I guess, paint the picture of the months to come. What kind of risks are we talking about? What are the kind of immediate needs that need to be addressed? I can only imagine that no matter what, the prognosis is fairly horrific at this point.
Well, the main we've been able to see on television are that there's an overwhelming amount of water, and people have been displaced from where they ordinarily live and where they ordinarily get food, and the water is no longer clean. And so it's all about survival. And the survival requirements are for clean water rather than contaminated water, for places where sanitation can be used more appropriately, and there will be, and there already are, all kinds of illnesses occurring, in particular diarrheal illness from the contaminated water, pneumonias from crowding and from people not eating well enough. And so the nutritional status will go down fast. The disease rates will go up quickly, but these are actually not complicated problems. They're logistically difficult, and we need to get the right amount of equipment and the basically simple things like food, water, tents, sanitation in quickly, and it's a matter of money and logistics. But there's acute death rates, and they don't become reversed. I mean, then people have lost, children or family members, and that doesn't get reversed. And that's why fast responses are really important to people's families and lives.
We just got a note from Cameron Sinclair about a house that was built today. He estimated, I guess, that 25 houses could be built, each housing 5 people with $10,000. So that's just one way that the money would be distributed. Any final words, Gary, to help us? I don't know. I guess wrap our heads around what's going on.
Well, have faith in these organizations. UNICEF, Oxfam, they know what to do. So they've been through these situations before. We in the health field know what it is that is required. And like we said before, it actually isn't complicated except for the logistics. And so your donation, if you're putting it into Oxfam or Save the Children or UNICEF or CARE, it's going to go well. It's going to go to where it's needed. It's going to go for the right things. And there isn't a lot. They've done the thinking, and they've figured out what it is, and they will deliver it well. And I've worked with these organizations for about 25 years, and this field is really on top of itself now. It knows what to do, but it does need the backing of everybody else. The doctors, the nurses, the health workers, the logistics, the water and sanitation people, they know what to do, but they are usually not getting enough of the basic supplies.